to part 2 of reading the Shatter Me series by Tahereh Mafi. I figured I would break this up into 2 parts because I feel like if I read all 6 books and possibly all of the novellas in one vlog, that would be way too long, and you guys know I can never shut up. So we're going to be reading the second half of the Shatter Me series, which is the books 4 through 6, which are Restore Me, Defy Me, and Imagine Me. So I was able to jump right into Restore Me after, well, I'm blanking on what the third book is called. Ignite Me. Duh. I literally just finished it yesterday. I think that this is my favorite cover of, all of them. It's just so fucking sick. I love these covers. They're just so cool. So yeah, I am really enjoying this one. I already started it last night. I started the audiobook, and actually I've been listening to the audiobook entirely because I'm actually reading, like I said, I'm reading the arc of Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone right now. But as soon as I finish that, which should be tomorrow night, I'm just going to jump right back into this. But this one has been so much fun to listen to because this one is dual POV. So it's dual POV from Juliet's and Warner's perspectives. So you finally get another voice in the audiobook, and you get Warner's voice. But honestly, I feel like the guy who is narrating him sounds a little bit older, almost too much older, and Juliet still sounds like a freaking child. Like, honestly, I wish... In the beginning, when I was listening to it, she sounded more mature, but now, like, as I'm listening to it more, she literally sounds the same as she did with Ignite Me. Like, but I do feel like this book in particular has a much more mature shift in tone as far as, like, the characters growing from the third book, honestly, was the biggest character arc that we've had so far in the series. And right now, I feel like we're more so, like, having Juliet and Warner, you know, coming into their own. And I'm really happy that this book is concentrating more so on Juliet and Warner rather than the whole love triangle with Juliet, Warner, and Adam in the second and the third book. Like, honestly, it was getting a little bit annoying. I was like, I just want to know more about Juliet and Warner's relationship. And so far, this one will probably be a 5-star. I think this might be my first 5-star read in this book. I mean, in this series, because so far I'm absolutely loving this one. And I don't know why people say that this series could have ended with the trilogy. I honestly feel like this series could go on for 3 more books. So I know some people are like, they could have just left it at Ignite Me, but honestly, I'm like, no, I want to see how they are able to stop the reestablishment in this book and in the rest of the series. So I'm here for it, and I literally cannot wait to see what happens. Just this one sounds so fucking sick, and honestly, so far, I'm so intrigued and engaged in this one. I mean, the first 3 were great too. I'm just so glad I finally decided to read this series because I'm literally so obsessed. And then, like I said, after that, we're going to jump into Defy Me, and I'm really this one, I don't know why I said that. This one is actually triple POV. So it's not just from Warner and Juliet's perspective, but it's also from Kenji's perspective, and everybody loves Kenji. Kenji's like the fan favorite, and honestly, I think he's hilarious. So I'm so excited that we finally get like his main POV in this book. Defy Me, I don't know. I think it might be triple POV as well. What does this one say? Ella and Juliet. I don't know who Ella is, but I guess we'll find out. It says mostly Kenji. But I'm really excited to get to these. There's a lot of Kenji's perspective in Imagine Me. So, and then Julia. Why is there no Warner in this one? But let's see. So far, I don't see Warner's perspective, but I guess we'll find out later. But I'm literally so excited to finish off this series. I can't believe how fast I'm getting through these books. Like I said, I knew it was going to be so quickly. Okay, we finally get Warner, like, in the epilogue, which is interesting. And then there's a couple of chapters. I've never seen an epilogue with more than one chapter. That's interesting. So yeah. Does this have Believe Me at the end? No, this is her other book, which I don't understand why it's back here. But yeah, super excited to read Imagine Me as well. I'm literally just having the best time reading these. So I'm not sure if I'm going to read all of the novellas in this vlog. I've seen some mixed reviews about the Kenji vlogs. The Kenji novellas, but I love Kenji. But like, since we're gonna get his perspective in Defy Me and Imagine Me, I don't know if I need to read Shadow Me, Reveal Me, and Believe Me. My God, I finally remembered them. But like, the titles, I'm surprised. But they're all available from the library for free, and I can just borrow them and read them when I can. So I wasn't going to make a decision until after I finished Restore Me, which I'm probably going to finish this by like Sunday night or Monday afternoon. I want to finish this by Monday, so since I started the audiobook already, I think that'll be fine. I'm almost on page 100 already. And this one is actually, the only one I would have to place a hold on would be Believe Me. So I guess I should place the hold now if I decide to. I didn't realize that one you can just borrow. This one's 435 pages. So, like, it's a bit longer than Ignite Me. So it should only take me basically the entirety of this weekend to finish. Okay, I guess I'm going to place a hold on... Wait, hold on. 10 weeks for this? Really? 10 weeks? Wait, that's for the audiobook. Where is just the regular... Oh, never mind. It's for the audiobooks, which is so dumb because, like, I literally have found all the audiobooks for free on YouTube. You don't have to borrow them from the library. But I understand if people just want to borrow them from the library. I mean, not everybody. I mean, most people have access to YouTube, though, so just a bit surprising, but it's okay. So yeah, I can just borrow the novellas at any time. It seems that Shadow Me is longer than Adam's novella, which was Fracture Me. That one was the shortest one so far. That one was only like 45 pages. Destroy Me was longer, but I really, really enjoyed that one. That's probably going to be my favorite, honestly. And then Reveal Me. Reveal Me is 112 pages. Okay. But I thought Destroy Me was that long, but it wasn't. It was only 60 pages. Wow. Believe me, it's almost a full-ass book. So, I don't know. I'll figure it out later, but just know that this vlog is mostly going to concentrate on reading books 4 through 6. So, again, very, very excited for these, and I'm so glad I finally decided to read these. And also, I saw that literally I had marked the Shatter Me series as one to read on Goodreads literally last February of 2024. So it's just funny that I decided to put aside February to read the entire Shatter Me series because I didn't realize that I had added them to my list in February of 2024. So I think that's kind of fate. I'm like, I didn't even realize that. So how did it work out like that? I don't know. So yeah, very excited to read these, and I will check back in with you guys when I'm over halfway through this, probably around like 300 or so, to see how things are going. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey guys, so I realized that I did not make a halfway through this book update. Let me just make sure my camera's actually clean, because yeah, but I think it's just the glow from my light. So I am actually more than halfway through Restore Me by Tahereh Mafi, which is again the 4th book in the Shatter Me series. I'm actually over 60% of the way through. I'm officially on page 299, but let's just call it 300, just because that's where this chapter left off, was 299. So I think this one is going to be a 5-star. I am really thinking that this one is the biggest shift in the tone of this series, from like growing and maturing with these characters. Like if you read these when you were younger, like back in 2013 when they first came out, because this book I think came out, it says 2018, then it said I think this book came out 4 years after Ignite Me, because like people said before, I think that it was originally just supposed to be a trilogy, but probably it was so fucking successful that they just made it a longer series. And honestly, I don't know why people tell other people that haven't read this series yet to stop reading it after Ignite Me, because I don't agree with them. I think that this is the biggest shift in the series, to where that these characters have matured a lot more, and I think that there's a lot more things that they have to deal with, you know, even though it's only a couple weeks later after what occurred at the end of the 3rd book. It's like 4 years later for the readers of this series. Like, it's kind of like reminding me of how we grew up with Harry Potter, and Harry Potter started out as children's books, and then it got pretty much like more young adult as we got older, because like JK, even though I don't like JK Rowling, hello, we all grew up on Harry Potter. I mean, come on. Or especially if you were a 90s kid like me, we grew up on Harry Potter. And the way that she had to shift the tone of the series from being children's books all the way up to like YA to almost upper YA, more mature topics, I feel like that's what's happening in this series as well. But I feel like with this series, it started off pretty maybe 16 or 17 years old, but this series has always had like a darker tone to it from the get-go. So I feel like with this, it's been able to handle like the growth of like their mental health issues, or like, you know, like I said, mindless killing. They have to, you know, assassinate people in order to survive, the reestablishment. So like there's a lot of, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Hunger Games, where I think that this was probably heavily inspired by that as well. Where, you know, you're kind of desensitized a little bit to sudden deaths going on, like kind of like Fourth Wing now. I'm sure Fourth Wing was inspired by Hunger Games as well. But basically, in this book, we're finding out a lot about Juliet and Warner, but mostly Juliet's backstory was kind of completely turned upside down in this one. And my jaw was on the fucking floor today, because I actually finally got to read some of this physically today, because I did bring it to work with me. And I read like 70 pages at work before my other coworker came in, because I was like by myself for like 2 hours. So I read quite a bit before she came in. And literally my jaw was on the floor when like a couple of customers were walking around, and I was just like, like, wait, what? Like, literally everything we learned in the first 3 books is like basically not true? Like, what? Because there's a lot of hints of lying and deceiving in the first 3 books, but I really feel like it's going to be fleshed out more. Sorry, it's so freaking windy outside. Let me close my door, because my door is freaking rattling right now. It's like shaking the house. That's like how windy it is right now. So I'm really, really loving this one, honestly. And again, since this one is dual POV, I think that's what is making it even better. It's crazy how much you can mature with the characters because it's dual POV, but also like how much more enjoyable books are when it is dual POV. And I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea, but sometimes like you need that different point of view in order to evolve with the series and grow with the characters. And I'm really, really, really enjoying this one. So far, Juliet had to take over for her sector. I'm not going to say why. And basically, this is about Juliet and Warner's relationship in this book. And there's a lot of things that Warner knows that he just revealed to Juliet that basically turned her life upside down. So that's basically what's going on right now, and I can't really say anything else or it's going to spoil it, but basically I would just recommend to stick with the series. If you think everything is finished in Ignite Me, I would say that this is like the big turning point in the series, because I guess people are like, you shouldn't continue it after Ignite Me, and I'm like, no. I actually think that these books are more adult and more maturely written, because honestly I was getting a little bit annoyed with Juliet's character being so apologetic in not the first book, because in the first book, like, you know, she was still, like, very immature, very childish because she didn't know any better. But in the second and the third book, it got a little bit annoying because, especially in the third book, I'm like, girl, why do you keep on apologizing to these, like, abusive men? But we all know how that is. So yeah, again, really, really enjoying this, and I think I only have like 130 pages left, so I'm going to read some more now. But there's like a lot of blank pages before like the chapters, so like there's literally just a full page of just Warner's name. Sorry, the bookmark is in the way. So that's taking up like probably like 50 pages worth, so I probably truly only have maybe like 100 pages left. So I'm going to read as much as I can tonight. It says, my past still clings to me, skeleton hands holding me back even as I push forward into the light. But I really think that this one, there's going to be a lot of shit that goes down in the last 100 pages, and I'm here for it. I can't wait. It's also been so enjoyable listening to Warner's voice, and I've been having a great time. So yeah, I'm so excited that I stuck with the series. I was going to finish it anyway. I mean, hello. I did finish the arc that I read last night, my first arc ever, which was Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. I absolutely loved it, but I'm not going to post my full thoughts about it until it comes out, because that vlog will be ready by the time that book comes out, because I believe it comes out March. It comes out in March. I can't remember if it's the 4th or the 7th. But we're getting a lot of book news lately, too. Like, we got Quicksilver's book 2, which is Brimstone. We got that date announced like a week or two ago. We also got a tentative date for the new Prince of Sin book by Carrie Maniscalco, book 3. If you guys know Throne of the Fallen, Throne of Secrets, we're finally getting book 3 tentatively in November, but possibly 2026, which is okay, because I feel like after Throne of Secrets, I'm like, girl, you need to take a little bit more time to write a good book. I was just so disappointed with that one, because Throne of the Fallen is a 6-star read for me, so I just want to look this up really quick, and then I will shut up. I still haven't made a decision on whether or not I'm going to read the novella after this. Oh, it is March 4th. March 4th, 2025. So I just finished this one, Promise Me Sunshine, and I can't believe I was able to finish my first arc ever. So I'm going to finish a drop for Corruption probably next week. I just really wanted to finish the Shatter Me series first, because I'm like dying to see what happens. I didn't even take a break because I was listening to the audiobook of Restore Me while I was reading Promise Me Sunshine on my Kindle. Because like I said, I finally got it on my Kindle. So yeah, I will check back in with you guys when I finish Restore Me. If I feel like something needs to be added, like I'll read the synopsis of the fourth novella, which I think, not the fourth novella, the third novella, which I believe is Shadow Me. I was about to say Shatter Me again. That's the name of the series, Caitlin. But this makes me really, really, really want to read This Woven Kingdom in March. Because I have quite a couple of priority books that I still have to read after Shatter Me. But literally after that, I really, really am dying to binge This Woven Kingdom, like the first or second week of March. And I think I'm going to do that. That might be like the first series that I read in March. But also I really want to read King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. I've been putting that off January and February. I really want to read that in March so I can be done with the Grishaverse. I also really want to read, I'm definitely reading the Hunger Games trilogy in March. Yes, I've never read it. Have to read that, even though I literally made two references to it with two different series, which is Shatter Me and Fourth Wing. Because Hunger Game inspired everything. Like, give me a break. And I really wanted to read the Fireborn trilogy, but I don't think I'm going to have time for all of those. Because I want to read the T.J. Klune duology, House of the Cerulean Sea, and Somewhere Beyond the Sea. And then there's like 2 series that I want to read in April. I forgot which ones they were, because I have to be ready for some books in May that I have to read a couple books before that. I definitely want to read The Rage of Dragons and The Fires of Vengeance before May, because the 3rd book comes out in May. But there was another series I wanted to binge. Oh, Heir of Broken Fates by Mads Rafferty. I am dying to read that series because I've heard so many good things about it, and the 3rd book comes out in May. She just announced it like a couple of days ago. I'm like, girl, you write books faster than I finish them. Like, I cannot believe she writes books this quickly, and she only makes people wait a year for the next book in the series, because she already has 2 before this. So the 3rd book's coming out in May. So yeah, I gotta catch up with a couple of series. Oh, also I want to read the Done and Dusted, like, Rebel Ranch series, because the 4th book in that comes out in April as well. And I thought those would be really good, like, pre-summer romances, kind of. But then I have like 10 million summer romances coming out in April and May. So I'm glad I at least got to read, or I'm able to read 2 2025 releases this month before they come out. So I'll be a little bit caught up. So yeah, that's it. Bye. You guys, I finished Restore Me already. I finished it in like 2 hours. I mean, I just didn't think I was going to finish it tonight, because I read like 60 to 70 pages after me and my mom finished a movie. And then I just finished the rest of it via audio, because I couldn't put it down. This one was 5 stars. This one was the best book in the series so far. Some crazy shit happens at the end, but damn, it was really, really good. Like, I don't really have thoughts right now because I'm so tired, and I kind of explained what was going on already, but Juliet powerful as fuck. I mean, we already knew that she was the most powerful out of all of them. But I like Tahereh Mafi's take on, like, Juliet's kind of like an anti-hero. Like, she's not all good. She can be pushed to be really evil. And, like, the whole series is about Juliet being at constant war with herself. And that's why I think I like the character arc of Juliet more than some... I mean, I'm all for female empowerment and heroism and everything, but, like, sometimes it gets a little bit repetitive and formulaic in, like, adult romantasy, like in Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, but, like, for me, I don't know why people don't like Feyre as much as they like Aelin. I actually think Feyre is my favorite from Sarah J. Maas, because Feyre's, like, such a humble heroine, And I don't know, she's just like become such a fucking badass, and I just really, really like her. But this is not about Sarah J. Maas. This is about uh Shatter Me. So anyway, that was crazy. You learned so much in this book. There were so many reveals in this book. My jaw was on the floor. I gasped because there were so many things that happened that were like, like, oh my god, like, what? Like, a lot of crazy deaths, and this book was a freaking roller coaster, and I fucking loved every second of it. This book was definitely the best and well written. But girl, Tahereh, my girl, how many times does Juliet have to say, "What are you talking about?" or "What do you mean?" Like, I know the girl is figuring out shit and is confused and all of that, but why does she have to say, "What are you talking about?" all the time? But it's okay. It's alright. This book was fantastic, like I said, and this is the best book in the series. I decided, though, that I'm just going to go right into the fifth one, and I already started it because the audio that I'm listening to on YouTube has all three books 4, 5, and 6 together in one video. So I just finished Restore Me from that video, and then it jumps right into Defy Me. But, so I already started Defy Me. So this is book 5. So I'm already on book 5. I can't believe it. But also, this one is significantly shorter than Restore Me. I don't know how I feel about that because I've learned this from Booked and Busy's channel that when the next book in a series is significantly shorter, sometimes I get a little nervous, but usually Tahereh Mafi's like build up and payoff is usually worth it. But honestly, this one started off a little shaky already. But also, I hate Kenji's voice in the audiobook so much. It's pissing me off already. Then I'm like, I don't know if I can listen to this one. I might just have to read this all physically, which will take me like a day and a half. It won't even take me that long. But I also want to listen to the audiobook while I'm getting ready and like driving and stuff, because I might leave the house tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, depending on how fucking tired I am. But anyway, I only like listened to the first 3 chapters, so, but these aren't really like chapters. They're just like from Kenji's but this one is finally from Kenji's perspective, and I was so excited to hear his voice. But his voice is so bad. Like, he sounds nothing like... He sounds nothing like what Juliet was making him sound like. And Juliet's voice was annoying to begin with, but then I learned to get used to her voice, and then I thought that she actually was really good at voicing Warner and Kenji. But, like, Kenji's voice was so different the way that she voiced it as compared to this voice actor voicing Kenji, and it's annoying the shit out of me. Like, the way that the voice actress that Juliet's voice actress would voice Kenji would be like, "Nah, man," you know, kind of like that. But like with this voice actor, he's like, it's like so bad. Like, I just want to play like 2 seconds of it.
I should have sat down. I'm looking at my hands, watching a tremor work its way across my fingers. I nearly lose my grip on the stack.
That doesn't even sound like what Juliet made him sound like. And then of course Juliet's gonna sound like that when she's voicing Kenji in her POV chapters in this book. And I'm just like, it's annoying me. But basically, anyway, I just wanted to say that. And then what I really ended up like loving Warner's voice, but I also thought that Warner's voice was almost a little bit too mature for Warner, but then it's like it kind of works for Warner because he is 2 years older than Juliet, but also like Warner had to mature a lot faster. but he kind of sounds like a man in his like early 20s and like somebody's that's like 19. But again, it makes a little bit more sense for his character because he had to grow up really, really quickly. Then he almost is like a full grown man, the way that he was trained in the military and stuff. But anyway, this one basically leaves off right where Restore Me leaves off. So I'm like, I kind of needed to know what happened in the beginning of this. And that's basically it so far. I can't really say anything else. But basically, like, some shit went down in the end of Restore Me. And basically, like, the first couple of chapters of this is, like, the damage control of what happened in the last book, which is literally how these books usually start off. But I don't know. We'll see. I've heard, like, that this one and Imagine Me are not really people's favorites, but also I think Imagine Me is significantly longer. Well, it is longer than Defy Me, but I don't think it's as long. Or maybe it is the longest book. It is the longest book besides, I think, Unravel. I think Unravel Me is the longest book. I think Unravel Me is 460. This one is 450. So Restore Me was 430. So this one is like 20 pages longer than Restore Me. I think I'm going to like this one more, but I don't know. We'll see if this one's a 5-star, but we're going to have to see how this one works out because, again, I've seen very mixed reviews about this one, so. But obviously, we're still going to continue it. I can't believe how fast I'm going through this series. I mean, it's a YA series. I shouldn't be that shocked. I go through YA series way faster than I do adult ones, so yeah. That's about it. I'm gonna go. Bye. Okay, so hey guys. So I wanted to give you guys an update on reading the 5th book in the Shatter Me series, which is Defy Me by Tahereh Mafi. Sorry if the brightness wasn't up. So I'm on page 175, which is pretty much, I'm gonna count it as halfway through because, like I said, there's so many starts of chapters that are just literally blank pages. So this is probably really like 150 pages maybe, but that's literally where I wanted to be. Like, honestly, I could probably think of this book as being like 300 pages, even though it says it's 357 pages. I am enjoying this one now. We actually found out quite a bit more about Juliet's childhood and also Warner's childhood and Adam's childhood as well. And also Kenji is finding out about a lot about Juliet and Warner's childhood as well. So there's a lot of reveals happening, and there's also a character that we thought was dead has kind of come back. So there's that too. So there's a lot going on right now. I do think this one is a little bit messy though. I'm not loving this one as much as Restore Me, but I am still enjoying like the reveals that are happening. There are some lines though that are making me just a little bit cringe, but I'm still enjoying it. I'm still loving this series and I'm so excited to see how this series ends. I can't believe how close I am to finishing it. I can't believe how fast I got through these books. So yeah, I'm just going to keep on reading tonight. That's basically all that's happened, and somebody also just got killed that it was kind of inevitable that it was going to happen, and they probably got threatened to be killed if they revealed anything that was going on or any type of information, and that's basically what happened. So that's probably why that person was scared revealing this information. I also think that there's more to Castle than he says because we constantly find out new things about Castle and his role in, you know, the rebellion and the reestablishment. So Castle knows a lot more than he had said previously. And also Kenji is kind of finding all of this out with Juliet, and Warner's father kind of used all of this information against him, and there was like one bit of humanity in Anderson for like a second or two, and then it's like he's like the most abusive, horrible person because like as soon as like he will even like open up at all or give Warner any sense of being a father, he will just use that against Warner. Because if Warner shows any bit of humanity, his father basically thinks it's weakness. So he's a fucking horrible person, like I said. Juliet is also kidnapped right now, and she is basically being tortured, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Like I said, this series is not lighthearted whatsoever, like, but it is super engaging. And like I said, if you're in a reading slump, you should definitely pick up these books. So yeah, super excited to finish this. I still hate Kenji's voice. It is so bad. But now I'm understanding why Juliet's name has changed in the next few chapters. I'm not going to say what because that would be a spoiler, but I saw that her name was written at the beginning of the chapter and then it was crossed out and then it said her new name. So, yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to continue reading. We'll see what we get up to. I actually was able to watch the premiere of White Lotus last night. I was so excited. I watched the season 3 premiere, and then me and my mom and my brother just watched, earlier, we watched Waitress, the musical on HBO Max. So good. I freaking love Sarah Bareilles. My mom and I also watched a movie last night too called We Live in Time. It was really, really good with Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. So I still have been reading during the day. So like I said, I got pretty far into this. I got like 145 pages in today. So that's a lot. So yeah, I should get well over 200 and then hopefully I'll be able to finish this. I mean, I'm definitely going to finish it tomorrow, but I'm hoping to finish it before tomorrow afternoon. Well, by tomorrow afternoon because I have my follow-up appointment for my tooth and then I also work at 4 o'clock. So I'm hoping to finish it before then, but we will see. Goodbye. Okay, guys. We finished it already. We finished Defy Me, the 5th book in the Shatter Me series. I finished this in literally a day. I can't believe I finished it already. It's just like you cannot put these books down. You just can't. You have to find out what happens. It's like I haven't been this it's not like I'm immersed, all right? These books do immerse you, but not like in a way where it's like, "Oh my God," it's like I think about these all the time. It's just like they're so gripping that it's like you have to find out what happens. And then it's like, I highly recommend you do not DNF the series after the 3rd book. I highly suggest that you continue it because you find out so much in the next couple of books, especially in this one. Like, Restore Me kind of flipped everything upside down, but this one did even more. But I still think Restore Me is my favorite. This one was a little messy. And there were some lines that were, again, a little bit cringe to me. But I think I'm going to give this one a 4.25 out of 5 stars. I was going to give it a 4.5, but then I was like, maybe a 4.35, actually. I did like this more so. A little bit more than the first two. Even though the first two are still great. I don't think this one was as strong as Restore Me, but again, we found out a lot in this book. But there were a couple of things about this one that I didn't love, but there were some mind-blowing reveals in the last like 100 or 200 pages, and this one actually made me cry at one part because there was one part where they were talking about unaliving, and it was really, really upsetting. Like I said, they do deal with a lot of mental health issues in this book, so, or in this, overall in this series, because unaliving has been a theme throughout this series. But there's so much that happens in like the last, it's always, like I said, the payoff in the last 100 pages of these books, I feel like are always worth it. So it's like, regardless of how it starts out, like, they pretty much all have a formula at this point where, like, it picks up right where the next book, the last book left off. there's like some kind of death or some kind of buildup on what happened in the last book. But this one actually ended on a note where it was a little bit hopeful and not as like not as much of a cliffhanger. It's just like you're looking forward to see how the rebellion or the resistance is going to stand against the reestablishment in Imagine Me, and I'm very, very excited about that. I actually didn't even mark this as read, or I mean as finished on Goodreads yet. I just finished it via audio. I'm gonna give it a 4 stars. It's not a 5 star. Restore Me is the only 5 star that I had from this series, but it's okay because usually I don't rate that many YAs 5 stars. It's just like there's like a couple things that, that I look for in the dialogue or like in the story and stuff. Because again, just the writing was a bit messy, but I still adore Tahereh Mafi's writing. But like, why again does she have to use what you're talking about so many times? Like, it gets so repetitive. Actually, in Restore Me, it wasn't half as much as it was said again in this book. But I actually didn't mind that this book was shorter. It was still pretty good. Like, I still think all these books are very strong. And like I said, you find out so much about why their world is the way that it is, especially in this book. So I'm saying, do not DNF the series. Keep on going. As I know again that some people said that this was the most mixed that they felt. I wish they would have touched on a bit more on why she had ice this time on the cover, because usually she does make a reference to like why her eyes constantly change. And I love these covers. They're so freaking sick. They're just so awesome. But I cannot believe I finished this today. I mean, I thought I was going to carry it over into tomorrow, and then I was like, no, I have to finish this. Like, and it's just so easy when like all I'm doing, like when I'm not reading it, I'm listening to it. So I read at least, I think, 150 pages physically today, and I think I listened to the rest of it. So, and it's just so easy when it's on YouTube. But I was reading like 60 or 70 pages at a time physically. I think I just read now. I read from like page 200 to like 270, so I still read 70 pages. And then I just listened to the rest of it because, and oh, what I was gonna say is that Kenji's point of view in this book was a little bit pointless, to be honest. That's what bugged me about this book the most, is that it honestly could have just been fine with just Juliet and Warner's perspective still, because literally the last third of this book is just Juliet and Warner's perspective. It's not even from Kenji's perspective anymore, which I didn't really understand why she did that. She could have thrown at least one more chapter in with Kenji's perspective. And also, just again, Kenji's voice in the audiobook just annoyed the fucking shit out of me. So, yeah. It just like, I don't know. It just completely like destroyed his character for me. Well, it didn't completely destroy his character for me. It just like really changed. I actually did not even add that I was gonna start that I'm currently gonna be reading Imagine Me. Imagine Me. I can't believe I'm on the last book already, guys. I can't believe it. That's fucking insane. I tore through this series so fast. I'm going to finish it by Wednesday, most likely. I think this one will take me 2 days to read. So yeah, I can't believe it. I cannot believe I finished it already. That's fucking crazy. I just want to look at That's fucking insane. I finished these two in like 3 days because I started the audiobook of Restore Me while I was reading the arc of Promise Me Sunshine, which was phenomenal. That's the only reason why Restore Me took 3 days rather than two, because I probably would have finished it in 2 days because I was loving that one, and like I said, that was my favorite one so far. Because I feel like like I said, the writing was so much more mature. But anyway, just Kenji's voice in the audiobook just really pissed me off. It just sounded so like wimpy. Like when I hear it from Warner's voice or Juliet's voice, it's more fun. Because like Warner and Juliet are just better voice actors. Kenji's voice just annoyed me so much, and it didn't even sound like what his character sounds like from Juliet and Warner's POVs. Like, it just made no sense to me why they picked that voice for him. I'm like, that, what? You're like character assassinating. It just wasn't great. So anyway, that book is done. Ends on like a hopeful note. A lot of shit was revealed, and my mind was blown. I would have shed some tears with Restore Me if I wasn't at work reading it yesterday, because I had makeup on, so I didn't want to like ruin it, but I was like reading it when like a customer was in the dressing room, and I was like almost crying. But I'm like, no, Caitlin, you're at work, don't cry. So yeah, I had to hold it together. But yeah, so far, both of those books were the only two that I felt like I needed to cry. And in Promise Me Sunshine, of course, I cried my eyes out. So anyway, we're going to be starting Imagine Me tomorrow. I'm so happy that I finally read this series and I got completely sucked in. And I think this was the best choice that I made so far this month, is reading this series, because people are right about reading series to get you out of a book slump. There is nothing better than reading a series that has been on your list for so long, or on your TBR for so long, because you can completely immerse yourself in them, especially YA series. They're just so fast paced. I don't care what anybody says. I love YA series. So this one says, in the pain I imagine bliss. My thoughts are like wind rushing, curling into the depths of myself, expelling, dispelling darkness. I imagine love, I imagine wind. I imagine gold hair and green eyes and whispers, laughter. I imagine me. Extraordinary, unbroken, the girl who shocked herself by surviving. The girl who loved herself through learning. The girl who respected her skin. Understood her worth, found her strength. Stronger, strongest. Imagine me, master of my own universe. I am everything I ever dreamed of. I'm only reading that because I'm not, reading the synopsis yet. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm not reading the synopsis because I feel like I don't want to give it away. So, even though it's like a really, really short blurb. So yeah. Can't wait. So excited. I'm going to shut up now. Goodbye. And I'll let you know when I start it tomorrow. Bye. Okay, so hey guys, I wanted to give you guys an update on where I am in Imagine Me by Tahereh Mafi, which is the last book in the Shatter Me series. As you can see, I'm pretty much a little bit over halfway through. I'm on page 237. I did actually listen to most of this today. I was about to say yesterday, but I just started it like last night. I really didn't get really any sleep last night either, so I've been really struggling with the insomnia lately. So hopefully we'll be able to pass out tonight, because I have to see my boyfriend tomorrow, and I will be so fucking tired if I don't sleep. So yeah. Hopefully. Here's hoping. So anyway, this is the last book. And so far, I am really enjoying this one, but I don't think, again, that it's my absolute favorite, but I know things are going to get crazy. And I'm still really, really enjoying this series. I can't believe I'm already on the last book. And as you guys can see, I decided not to read the two Kenji novellas just because, I don't know, like the audiobook voice in this, it's only from Kenji's audiobook voice, I mean, it's only from Juliet and Kenji's perspective throughout most of this book. Most of, like I said, the second half of Defy Me was just from Juliet and Warner's perspectives. And it was a lot more enjoyable to listen to because I do enjoy both of their voices. But this is just from Juliet and Kenji's perspectives. And then literally just the epilogue of this is from Warner's perspective, which is a little bit weird. I feel like she should have kept up Warner's perspective, like maybe every 100 pages we could have gotten like 2 or 3 pages of it, but maybe she'll explain it at the end. But basically, like they are trying to see whether or not they are going to kill a certain person that is basically keeping up everything that is going on with the reestablishment. They have to determine whether or not they are going to kill them because it's somebody that's really close to one of the characters. And basically that's one of the only ways that they can do it, or they have to save them. So that's basically where we're at. We're also, Juliet has been captured again in this book. She was captured in the last book as well, but then she ended up killing who her capturer was. This time it's not going to be as easy, but I think they just rescued her. I can't remember, obviously. I mean, it's Juliet, of course. They have to rescue her. She's the main character. So we're going to see how she becomes a fucking badass at the end again. And I do really like Juliet's character arcs. Like, they're definitely the most interesting, and obviously Warner's. But, like, Kenji, I don't know. He's getting a little... Actually, he's a little bit more interesting in this book now as opposed to the last one. But there are just, like, a couple of parts that annoy me. But there are some really funny parts with Kenji, though. I was laughing really hard at the audiobook earlier because there was some really funny lines with, like, the other... what do you call them? Reestablishment leaders. I forget what they're actually called, but basically, like, they're the leaders of every sector. So yeah, I should be finished with this by tomorrow night. I don't think I'm gonna finish it tonight because this one's a bit longer than Defy Me. Defy Me was easier to finish in a day because it was literally 100 pages shorter than this. I probably should be on most likely 300 or so by tonight. And then I'll just finish it tomorrow night. I'm just going to listen to the audiobook while I'm getting ready to see him. And then I'm going to listen to the audiobook driving back and forth from his house. And that's it. So yeah, I can't believe we're almost at the end. And I'm just so happy I finally committed to reading this series. I can't believe I put it off for so long. Oh, and like I said, do not DNF the series after Ignite Me. Like I said, you're learning so much. You probably learned more in Restore Me and Defy Me than this one. We're learning some things in this one, but like a lot of things were revealed in Restore Me and Defy Me. That this one's a little bit slower, but at the same time, like it's still, there's a lot of action that just happened and a lot of aftermath. So yeah, we will see how this ends. I think I won't be disappointed with the ending of this. I think it's going to be really good. I'm so excited for, like, hopefully a war coming. Like I said, usually that's how most fantasy series end. There has been, like, a couple of attacks that they had to handle themselves with, and some people died, so it was pretty sad. But yeah, we will see where it goes, but I'm very excited to see what happens. And literally, after I finish this series, it really, really makes me want to read the rest of the Tahereh Mafi books that I own, which are the This Woven Kingdom series. And I really want to binge those, like, in March. There's, like, literally 4 series on my list for March. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of them, But I'm dying to read This Woven Kingdom now because I really do enjoy the way that she writes. And I've heard that writing is even better. Or a lot of people prefer Shatter Me over This Woven Kingdom. Or some people think that This Woven Kingdom's even better than Shatter Me because the writing's like a little bit more mature and more lyrical and more flowery and like more beautifully written. So I'm like really wanting to read it. Like I'm dying to read it, honestly. But I want to stick to my TBR for the rest of this month because I have like 3 new releases that I want to read before this month is over. And I do really want to read Love Theoretically still. But I'm honestly thinking about just ending the month with new releases because I did stick to most of my TBR this month. Well, actually, really, it was only Shatter Me and like a couple of Kindle reads, but hey, we still read, so it doesn't really matter what I read. Like I said, the only thing that mattered for me to read in February was the Shatter Me series. I'm like, besides that, I had no other priorities besides the Shatter Me series. I'm like, I really don't care what else I read as long as I finally read this series that I've been pushing back and pushing further and further off. I mean, putting off further and further, that I'm like, I finally need to read it. But I still haven't read Warbreaker or Billy Summers. Those are definitely on my list to read those 2 books before I read. I don't know when we're going to get to them, though, but we'll get to them when we can. Billy Summers has been on my list for so long. That book has been on my TBR just as long as Love Theoretically has been. So that's why I really wanted to read Love Theoretically over Deep End, but I do want to read at least one Allie Hazelwood book after I finish Shatter Me. So, and Love Theoretically was the one that was on the TBR for this month. I think the only one we're not going to get to because I really want to read Rebel Witch, which I'm probably going to read it after Love Theoretically because I'm reading that for a video that I'm working on where I read unreleased, I'm reading books before they come out. Like I read A Promise of Sunshine, and then I'm going to read Rebel Witch, and I'm also have another arc read, which is A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. I'm going to probably most likely finish the month reading that book. So, like I said, I had already started it, so I should be able to finish that book. But since we're a day ahead of schedule reading Shatter Me, because like I said, I finished Defy Me in a day, and I'm going to finish this by tomorrow night, I have to figure out like what else I want to read. Because I'm going to have like 9 days left. I mean, I already know I'm reading 4 other books, which is Rebel Witch, Love Theoretically, The Rose Bargain, and A Drop of Corruption. So I really want to read a Kindle read. And I'm torn as to which one I really want to read. There's like 2 that are like top priority for me. The first one is Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. They just added the whole series of Beartown to Kindle Unlimited. So I literally had just read Beartown, like that was the first book that I finished in February. And I probably would have finished at least one more book this month if Beartown didn't take me 3 days to finish in the beginning of February, but then I literally blasted through like 13 more books after that. But anyway, excuse me. It is so fucking windy out. I don't know if you can hear that. You probably can't. But it's freezing. It's like 24 degrees tonight. It was so windy earlier. I had to take the trash out at work today, and it was so fucking cold. And I think I lost my glove. So anyway, and the other one is, so they have the whole Beartown series on Kindle Unlimited now. So I took out my, I took off my Libby holds that I had on the 2 books that I didn't read yet from the series, which is Us Against You and The Winners, because I don't need to hold them at the library anymore if they're free at Kindle Unlimited, on Kindle Unlimited. So I can just read them there. And then the other one that Kindle Unlimited just added was Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto, and I really want to read that book as well. And I feel like there was one more. Oh, House of the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I really do want to start the month with those two books. But I really want to read Not Another Love Song after I finish A Drop for Corruption, so I might end up reading that. But I really like starting off the months, sorry, with a Kindle read because, I just have more fun. But I am going to be reading A Drop for Corruption on my Kindle, so I don't know if I want to read two back-to-back Kindle reads, but I might because I really do want to read that book. So I probably will end up reading Not Another Love Song, and then I'll read House of the Cerulean Sea and Somewhere Beyond the Sea, and then I'm probably going to do Us Against You because I really do want to read the second book, at least in the series, before the winter is over. I don't know when I'm going to get to the third book. We might get to it before March is over, but that will literally be now 4 series that I would read in March because I would finish the Beartown trilogy. I'd read the House of the Cerulean Sea duology because I wasn't able to get to that this month because we just ran out of time because I ended up having to read 2 ARC reads. So, and I basically spent like the first week of this month like mood reading a lot, like of new books that I had read, and at least I was reading books that I had just picked up. And I had read like 3 or 4 books that I had picked up recently, and then I returned one of them. And then I still read Heavenly Bodies and Big Borrower Steel, and then the entire Shatter Me series. So honestly, I think that's a success. And I really want to read the King of Scars and Rule of Wolves duology next month. And I really want to read The Hunger Games because The Hunger Games new book is coming out like the 3rd week of March. And I don't want to be the only fucking person that still hasn't read Hunger Games yet. So I have to read The Hunger Games in March. And then like I said, I really wanted to binge this Woven Kingdom. So that's Beartown books 2 and 3, House of the Cerulean Sea, that's 4 books, plus The Hunger Games is 7, plus this Woven Kingdom would be 10, plus the House of the Cerulean Sea duology. Did I already say that? No. Yes, I did. That's 2, 4, and then the King of Scars duology would be 6, and then 7, 8, 9 would be this Woven Kingdom, and then 10, 11, 12 would be the Hunger Games trilogy, plus the new book would be 13 books. And then there's already 3 books on my TBR cart that I really want to read, which would be Deep End by Ellie Hazelwood, First Lie Wins. I can't remember the author's name, but it's like one of the biggest thriller books out there in the past like 2 years. And the other one is Expiration Dates because I just added that one to my TBR, and I kind of was wanting to read those 3 books in another 24-hour readathon. And then, like I said, Not Another Love Song. So it's probably going to be the entire TBR for March. And honestly, I'm not really upset about that. I think that's actually a really good TBR for March. So I think that's going to be the TBR because then, like I said, I'll get to 4 series, which would be awesome. And 3 individual books that are on the TBR cart, which again would be great. And 2 Kindle reads. I'm not really, well, 3 Kindle reads actually. I'm not really too excited about any March releases besides the Hunger Games book. I don't even know if I'm going to read the Strawberry Pancake House or really any of the other new releases in March besides the Alex Astor one, which is Summer in the City. I do want to read that one. But again, there's the March releases and this month's releases were not really absolutely essential for me. And honestly, the one I would have been the most excited about in March would have been Promise Me Sunshine, but I already read that. So I think our replacement for that one is going to be Not Another Love Song. So I think I'm just going to start that one right after I finish A Drop for Corruption because I really have been wanting to read that one for a while. And that's really the one that I'm in the mood for after I read like 2 other romantices after Love Theoretically. So yeah, we got our work cut out for us. Sorry I'm rambling. I had a lot of thoughts in this video. And I just wanted to look at the March releases. Yeah, honestly, That's really the only one I wanted to read. Which is Sunrise on the Reaping. Honestly, all these other ones, it's not really a huge deal if I don't read them. All the big new releases for me are going to be in April, which is in Contra, Say You'll Remember Me, and Fearless. So super excited for all three of those. And like I said, since I already am going to be reading A Drop for Corruption, I don't have to read that one. And then The Hollow Hunt, which is the second book in the Revenant games. I keep on forgetting when that is coming out. I think since I was able to read A Drop for Corruption, or I'm going to read that before it comes out, that's actually a good idea if I do that, because I think three anticipated releases that I had in April were all coming out April 1st, which was Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Can I speak? Abby Jimenez. Revenant games. But this one was actually supposed to it comes out April 1st. So I'm going to have Say You'll Remember Me and The Hollow Hunt, which is Margie Fuston. So I'm going to read those two books, and then I will have Encontra and Fearless, which Fearless is the third book in the Powerless trilogy. So I would have had 5 new releases if I wasn't reading A Drop for Corruption before it comes out April 1st. So I would have had 3 on April 1st, which is fucking crazy. Like, why they trying to overwhelm us on April Fool's Day, alright? Okay, that's it. Bye! Hey guys, so that's it. We finished the Shatter Me series. We did it. Yay! I can't believe it. We finished it finally. This is a big accomplishment for me this year already. So I literally just finished Imagine Me, not even maybe like a half hour or so ago, because I actually finished the audiobook in my car. I was thinking I was going to finish it when I came home today, but I was already on like the last hour when I was driving back and forth from my boyfriend's house, and then I just finished up the last like half hour that we had in the audiobook left of this in the car. And that was it. Finished it, and I can't believe it's done. So this one was a bit underwhelming though, I have to be honest. I feel like this one, the first half was way stronger than the second half of this book. I think that things could have wrapped up in Defy Me, to be honest, because I felt like this book almost felt like it did feel like a repeat of Defy Me. Like, literally the same plot. And, like, Warner was still being upset that, like, Juliet was kidnapped, and they had to rescue Juliet again. So, basically, I feel like maybe Defy Me could have been 100 pages longer, like this one, and it could have wrapped up in that book as opposed to this one, because I honestly feel like this could have been, like, a 200-page novella, too. Like, honestly, even Kenji makes a reference to how familiar this sounds and, like, how familiar it would sound to the reader, saying, I'm having deja vu, saving Juliet again. I'm like, yeah, because that's literally what happened in the 5th book, too. So that was, like, pretty underwhelming. I was hoping there was going to be a war that was coming, like a big buildup, but there wasn't. And then all of a sudden, like, everything was resolved by the end of the book. So I feel like even though this book was longer, I feel like the ending was a bit rushed because, yeah, I'm gonna, in a few minutes, Jesus Christ, I cannot stand it sometimes. I can't do 2 things before I try them on. God, I can't film a damn clip. It just fucking annoys the shit out of me. So anyway, this one was kind of a lot of buildup, even though, like, the payoff was worth it because it went in a different, well, I knew what direction it was going to go in. It honestly became a little bit predictable at the end because we all knew what was going to happen. But again, I was hoping there would be, like, some other, like, you know, uprising with the other sectors and they would all come together and fight the reestablishment, and that's not really what happened. So honestly, this I can understand why people were disappointed with this one because I honestly think this one was probably the weakest out of all of these. So we're just gonna go ahead and rank them really quick. So honestly, I would say probably Imagine Me is my least favorite, which kind of sucks, but yeah, it's not really that great. So, and then I would have to say Defy Me, but I would say like still continue the series, but like I would honestly say you don't really have to continue it after Defy Me. I think you should definitely read Restore Me. You should definitely read Restore Me and this book because you do get a lot of answers in this one. But Imagine Me, I don't know. It just was not that great. And then I would say probably Unravel Me is number 4 because this one was good, but I honestly think that the debut for this was better because this one was a little bit too dragged out with the love triangle between Adam Warner and Juliet, and also like it was just a bit annoying. So yeah, this one was good, but I feel like the first book was better. So the number 3 would be Shatter Me. I really did enjoy this one as the debut in the series. It was a very, very strong first book, and I really enjoyed it. So that was really good. And then, of course, my second favorite was Ignite Me. This was like the huge turning point in the series for me, and I felt that I was going to love the next book even better, and it turned out to be my absolute favorite, but this one was very close to a 5-star. And then, of course, like I said, my favorite one was Restore Me. This one was definitely the strongest book in the entire series for me. I thought that, like, Juliet was not as whiny as she was in the first few books, and I feel like she really came into her own character in this, and she was finally, like, discovering what her identity was. But I kind of feel like Defy Me and Imagine Me kind of, you know, character assassinated her just a little bit because like a lot of the character building that she was doing in this book kind of, you know, got a little bit defeated in the in Defy Me and Imagine Me. So yeah, this one was definitely a 5-star, and then Ignite Me was a 4.75. It was very close to a 5-star. And then Shatter Me was a 4.25. I think I ranked all of these the same, or I mean, rated these the same. This one was a 4.25. I thought that this one was going to be a 4.5, but I would give this a 4.25 as well. They were still really good. And then Imagine Me, I'm just going to give a solid 4 stars. I didn't really feel any more compelled to round this up. I'm just going to give it a 4 stars because it was a little bit underwhelming. And like I said, I was kind of getting a little bit sick of the same plot. I'm like, really? There was no battle that happened? Like, I was a little bit upset about that. So, yeah, that's it. That's my ranking of my favorite to my least favorite from here to here. So, still a very strong series, and I definitely recommend that you guys stick with the whole series to the end. But yeah, some of that stuff was definitely very repetitive in this one, but I can't believe I finished it already. It's like crazy, like how long this series has been on my TBR, and I feel like a huge goal was accomplished today by finishing it. And then, like I said, I did also read Destroy Me and Fracture Me in this video. I just want to put these down because they're like bothering me on my lap, and I don't want them all to fall. And I thought Destroy Me was my favorite novella so far. That was a very strong one. And Fracture Me, they were both 4 stars because I don't tend to round up novellas. I was going to read Believe Me after this, but it's freaking 200 pages. So I might honestly just read that as possibly my last book in February, or I might not read the other novellas because people said that it's not really that essential to read Shadow Me, Reveal Me, and Believe Me, because honestly, Kenji's character was kind of annoying me in the 5th and 6th books. Like, I'm glad that he got more of a perspective from him, but I almost wanted to go more into, like, Kenji's story about, like, where he came from, but, like, also maybe Shadow Me and Reveal Me concentrate on his background a little bit more, because honestly, I would like to know what happened to his parents. And like we do get some of that story, but not enough of it, so I feel like we needed even more of that. So I'm not sure, but yeah, I can't believe I finished the series. So that's it. We're done. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at CBW819 and check out my Poshmark at the same handle. And yeah, I'm really, really happy that I finally read it. And I hope you guys took my thoughts and maybe will end up binging it yourself, or have you read it before? It's a very, very popular series. I'm just glad I finally got it off of my TBR. And it was great. I had a great time from beginning to end. I think it's definitely worth the hype. I think it's a great series. So I can't wait to read this Woven Kingdom. It's going to be on my TBR for March, and I'm so excited because I really, really enjoy her writing. So far, Tahereh Mafi has already been my most read author this year because I've read 8 books from her because of the entire Shatter Me series. So yeah, I'm finally excited that I accomplished finishing it because I was pushing it off for so long. And I knew I was going to finish it in like 2 weeks, and I'm so glad I started it when I did. So yeah, that's it. I'm really thirsty because I didn't really get to drink a lot of water today. So yeah, bye. Keep reading.